Welcome to Annapolis Mosaics. Our program spotlights people in our community who are involved in activities designed to promote good human relations. I am Michael Keller, the chair of the Annapolis Human Relations Commission and your host. The commission is a city board that seeks to promote equal opportunity and to eliminate discrimination. My guest today is John Corrin, who is of the Bicycle Advocates for Annapolis and Anne Arundel County. John, welcome to Annapolis Mosaics.
Thank you, Mike. Great to be here with you.
Okay. Well, you made the following statement in the op-ed piece, which you had published in the Capital. You said this: when more people walk or bike, everyone benefits. Could you elaborate on that and say how it fits into the mission of Bicycle Advocates of Annapolis and Anne Arundel County?
Yeah, and I'm particularly glad you picked that one out, because that is one of our important themes. So our mission is to promote safe bicycling for transportation, fitness, and recreation. And so we feel that if more people will get out and walk or bike, especially for transportation, especially as an alternative to using their car, then for the person on the bike or the person on foot, that's a little less traffic, that's a little less parking congestion, that's a little better health, that's a little cleaner air and water. We think it's better for the economy, because people zooming by in their car are not going to stop and buy something. Somebody on foot or on bike might just do that. And we also think people will interact with one another when they're on foot or bike. They'll stop and might meet somebody and chat with somebody or see somebody they know. If you're passing each other in cars, that will never happen. Mm-hmm. So that's the big set of benefits for the person on foot or bike. Mm-hmm. But to your question, what about the benefits for the people that don't bike or walk? Mm-hmm. For some, they may choose to use their car, or for some, due to a disability or some other issue, they may have no choice but to use their car. So if the person biking and walking reduces traffic a little bit, reduces contention for parking, which is a big issue in downtown Annapolis, that's a benefit even to the people that continue driving. Mm-hmm. Cleaner air and water, that's a benefit to everybody. So we think the benefits go mostly to the person on foot or bike, but they also really go to the entire community.
Mm-hmm. How did Bicycle Advocates get started? Could you share with our viewers some of the highlights of your history?
Yeah, I've learned by Anne Arundel County standards. I'm still a new guy. My wife and I moved here 8 years ago in 2011. I retired the following year, and then I immediately entered the Leadership Anne Arundel flagship program. During that 9-month program, teams take on community projects. Our team took on a project to find ways we could make the area more bicycle friendly. We really didn't know what we were going to do, but we went out to do due diligence, started talking to people to find out what was going on and where there might be a gap that we could fill. What we discovered in talking to somebody who at the time worked for the city of Annapolis is that there was no bike advocacy group here. Mm-hmm. Howard County has one, Montgomery County, Washington, Baltimore. We were surrounded by areas with bike advocacy groups, but there was none here in Annapolis and Anne Arundel County. We said, there's our gap, we can fill that. And so that spring we incorporated, immediately filed for 501c3, mm-hmm. and I'm happy to say 6 months later we are very vibrant, well-regarded, awesome partners, great connection to the community, volunteer organization.
Okay. Bicycle Advocates offers a number of programs that are aimed at children and youth. I'd like to just mention a few of them and let you share some more details about each of them with our viewers. I think there'll be a lot of interest in that.
Great.
Especially since children love to bike.
Absolutely.
So you've got something called Children's Bike Safety. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we want to make sure that as kids learn to ride, they also learn the proper safety rules. And so we do a variety of programs. We do bike rodeos where children get a safety orientation, and then they actually get on their bike and ride through a little course where they have to do a hand signal, stop at a stop sign, and so forth. And without getting into loads of detail on it, we teach them first, how do they prepare themselves? Proper clothing, always, always, always a helmet. And in Maryland, Maryland law, under 16 must wear a bike helmet. So prepare themselves to ride, prepare their bike, we call it the ABC check, air, brakes, chain, make sure your bike is in good shape. And then finally, the proper rules for riding either on a bike trail or in a park, or when they're old enough, on the road.
And what about the pedal power kids? What's that about?
Pedal Power Kids, we're really excited to have this. I thought I had a flyer on that, but Pedal Power Kids is actually a business that was launched by Rachel Varn, who lives in Severna Park. Okay. And she's launched a business where she is teaching children how to ride. She taught 3 of my grandkids how to ride last summer. Teaching them how to ride, teaching them proper safety, as we just discussed, and also teaching them sort of the joys and usefulness of biking. So she's running bike adventure camps where the kids meet up at a trail, and every day one day they go to Railroad Museum, one day they go to for frozen yogurt, one day they go off-road onto some dirt trails. So we're really thrilled to have Rachel launch that program. She's got fantastic relationships with City of Annapolis Rec and Park. She runs programs at Pitmore, and also with County Rec and Parks, and she's done a lot of pro bono programs. She's done programs for Centro de Ayuda. When we had Bike Month in Annapolis last year, she ran a bike rodeo down at City Dock, and so she's done quite a bit for the community as well.
And you also have programs for children with special needs, don't you?
Yes, we do. One of the things we're most proud of is our partnerships. We meet other organizations, we develop a relationship, and then somehow magically something wonderful happens that wouldn't have happened without it. One of our partners is Rise for Autism. Every year, Rise for Autism hosts a bicycle camp for children with special needs of all kinds. And they bring in special bikes and a couple of professional instructors, and then dozens and dozens of volunteers. And they get almost every child up on a 2-wheel bike by the end of the week. I've volunteered there the last 3 years. It gives me chills talking about it. Parents who felt my child will never be able to ride a 2-wheel bike, almost all of those kids are up on a 2-wheeler by the end of the week. It's an amazing, amazing program.
Well, I know that your organization sponsors a number of different kinds of events, and I'd like to mention them and give you the opportunity to elaborate on them. Ride of Silence. What is Ride of Silence? Ride
of Silence occurs every year in May, which is National Bike Month. May is National Bike Month. A lot happens in May. And Ride of Silence is to remember, and sort of a call for safety, to remember people who have been killed or seriously injured on bicycle, especially on the roads, especially involving vehicles. So we do it every year in Annapolis. We're always proud to have Annapolis Police Bike Patrol and County Police Bike Patrol ride with us. It's just a slow, silent ride, again, to draw attention to the responsibilities that everyone, motorists and people on bikes, have to be able to share our roads safely.
And you also do something called Bike to Work Day.
Yes, Bike to Work Day is a huge deal. We've been doing it over 20 years. It predates me. Every year, Bike to Work Day is a day where we try to encourage as many people as possible. Leave the car at home and ride your bike to work. And so we arrange meetup points where people who may be uncomfortable riding alone can find other people who are biking to a common area. And then we have a big gathering. I mean, sort of the main event in the county is right at City Dock, Annapolis, and we always have, Mayor Buckley Road, County Exec Pittman Road, Former Councilman Trumbauer, I think, is the longest standing public official to participate. So yeah, we typically get over 100 people down there. It's a really nice event. And we hope that people will ride to work not just that day, but maybe it'll catch on, and they'll do it on a regular basis.
How about Wheels of Hope?
Wheels of Hope is another one that emerged through partnerships. We have a wonderful partnership with Anne Arundel Medical Center.
Oh.
And we got together with Anne Arundel Medical Center, County Police Bike Patrol, and Bike Dr. Crofton. The four of us got together and said, you know, let's try a program where we can collect up used bikes, we like to say gently used, that might need a little TLC, a little refurbishment, and then through our various relationships, place them with people in need. For example, people in halfway houses. Many have had DUI or substance issues. They can't have driver's license. The biggest challenge they have is transportation. They're trying to get back, get a job, get to work. They need bicycles for transportation. We place them with people in need. And we've done similar with children's bikes. We hadn't intended to do children's bikes, but we started receiving a bunch. And so we've also, so we collect bikes at the medical center. Volunteers that are handy come in and refurbish them. And then through our relationships, we place them with adults and children in need of bikes.
And there's Memorial Ride.
Well, memorial rides we've done for people who we have lost while on their bicycle, but we've also done memorial rides for people who just simply love to bike. So for example, Tom Carricker, who was known as the mayor of the B&A Trail. He's been on the front page of the Capitol Gazette a couple of times. He rode that B&A Trail almost every day, rain or shine. Passed away late last year. We did to pancreatic cancer, but we did a memorial ride for Tom. We had over 100 people out on the B&A Trail. And in fact, we're fundraising to build an enhanced gathering area for people in the area of Big Bean pedal pushers right there on the B&A Trail in Tom's name. So that's a good example of a memorial ride that we've done.
Yeah. Now your organization also has a program called Lifeline 100.
Yes.
What is that all about?
Now I'm going to sneak in one more bike event before I jump to Lifeline.
All right.
Bike to school. We've talked about Bike to Work. Bike to School Day is also in May. We encourage schools to, and this is a national program, but we encourage schools to get kids riding their bikes to school on that day. Now in some cases, there may not be safe routes to a school, and so there are certain schools, like Broadneck Elementary comes to mind, where the police actually will escort children. They've had over 300 kids ride to school on Bike to School Day. I'm proud to say Anne Arundel County and Annapolis, the last 2 years have had the most schools registered at the National Bike to School site participate in Bike to School. So that's another one. Some do it again in October. They love it so much they do it again in October on Walk to School Day.
Yeah, from your description, John, it seems that a large number of the programs that you do are really aimed at children and youth, and you're really trying to make an outreach to the younger generation to provide them with a sense of enthusiasm about bicycling.
Absolutely, and we want them to view their bikes not just as a toy, not just as recreation, but as a way to get around, as an alternative to getting in the car or getting on the school bus.
Now, what about Lifeline 100?
Oh, do I have to talk about Lifeline 100? My beloved program. So this is another one that emerged through our fantastic relationships. When we launched, my background professionally includes strategic planning. When we launched Bike AAA in 2013, we set near-term goals and long-term goals. One of our long-term goals was to have a signature bicycle event in Anne Arundel County. There just wasn't any. But through a set of relationships, specifically with Anne Arundel County Police and with Anne Arundel County Recreation and Parks, we all had this shared vision of a big community bicycle event. And lo and behold, rather than wait 5 years for a long-term goal to happen, we launched our first Lifeline 100 in 2014. Now this is a unique bicycle event, and what we're most proud of is how inclusive it is. Most bicycle events are for people dressed in spandex with fancy road bikes, and the ride routes are mostly out on the road. So they are for the serious cyclists. I love those events. I've done many, many of them. But we wanted this event to offer something for everyone. So the three parties, again, Anne Arundel County Police, Recreation and Parks, and Bike AAA, came together and created an event that offered something for everybody. So, for example, we have rides that are strictly on paved trails. So we get families who like to ride, we get recreational riders, we get bicycles of all kinds, beach cruisers, mountain bikes, tag-alongs with a child on the back, tandem bikes. And what we're most proud of is for people with special needs, we are happy to have and offer routes for people with adaptive bikes. So people with disabilities that use adaptive bikes can participate either on our trail rides or on our little route up at Kinder Farm Park. We also offer a bike rodeo that's free of charge for children 4 through 10. So this has been really a wonderful event in the county. We do it every year in October. It's typically the first weekend in October. All of the proceeds from the event stay in the county and go to Anne Arundel and Annapolis nonprofits. Nonprofits who are looking for a fundraising program can utilize Lifeline 100, and they don't have to worry anything about organizing a program, getting permits, getting insurance, getting food, we've got all of that ready to go. All they have to do is recruit people who care about their cause, pull a team together, do their fundraising however they like, and we love working with nonprofit partners. So if you want to learn more about the Lifeline 100 bike event, just go to lifeline100.com and you'll find everything you need to know. Schedules, routes, registration, sponsors. We will feed you well. We have a grill going when you come back from your ride at Kinder Farm Park. So yeah, we've been getting over 800 participants of all ages and all abilities. So come on out and ride with us.
Could an overarching issue for your organization has been that of safety. Could you provide our viewers with some tips for bicyclists as well as motorists?
Yes, so let's start with bicyclists and motorists sharing the road, and then I'd like to also spend a moment talking about people on bikes and people on foot and people on other devices like rollerblades on the trails, because we're equally concerned about safety on the trails. On the road, for motorists, most important thing to know is when you're driving and you encounter a bicycle, and these are magnetic bumper stickers that we like to give out to people to remind them that in Maryland, a motorist is required to give 3 feet of space when safely passing a bicycle on the road. So that means clear sight line, no oncoming traffic, and then pass when safe to do so, and give a minimum of 3 feet. The other big concern we have now as people riding bikes on the road are people on cell phones or people impaired. Everyone knows when they're driving behind somebody on their cell phone because they see the car drift and come back. That's an annoyance to other drivers. For somebody on a bike, that could be fatal. And so distracted driving is a big concern. So please, drivers, put away the cell phone. And then the last one is impaired. And that's impaired drivers do substance or alcohol and so forth. For the people on bikes, they have their rules. Number one, by Maryland law, they are vehicles and are required, except for specific exceptions, obey all of the safety rules. So red lights, stop signs, riding in the direction of traffic, staying to the right, generally staying to the right side as safe as much as practicable. But there are many times, and this is non-intuitive to drivers, where the safest place for a person on a bike is right smack in their center of the road. In places where the sight lines are poor, or if the cyclist is getting prepared to make a left turn, or they have to worry about car doors, parked cars swinging out, right smack in the center of the lane is actually the safest place for them to be, and they're legally entitled to be there. In many cases, when I bike to Annapolis, I bike down King George Street. There's a row of parked cars. I'm out in the lane and not impeding traffic. I'm just trying to get safely to my destination.
Let's talk about one other matter which you touched upon, and that is the relationship between bicyclists and pedestrians. What's your thought about bicyclists being on sidewalks? You do see that. I have seen people not walking, riding a bicycle on the sidewalk crossing the Spa Creek Bridge, which can be quite a hazardous situation.
Yeah. So bicycles aren't really supposed to ride on the sidewalk, but if you talk to almost anyone in law enforcement, they will tell you that somebody riding a bike safely on a sidewalk, especially in an area where it may be uncomfortable to be in the roadway, no one's going to get a citation for riding safely. Now, people riding recklessly on a sidewalk and not yielding to pedestrians, or in a narrow area, like on the Spa Creek Bridge, which I ride over all of the time because I love to ride into and around Eastport. I'm very comfortable riding over the Spa Creek Bridge, but some recreational riders are not. So if they're going to ride on the sidewalk, they absolutely have to be yielding to pedestrians and just being extra cautious about pedestrians. No different than the way motorists have to with regard to bicycles, because the person on a bike is more vulnerable to the motorist, and similar with a pedestrian.
And how about the relationship between bicyclists and pedestrians on something like the B&A Trail?
Yeah.
You've got, for example, organizations that use the B&A Trail a lot for walkathons. And you've got bicyclists which come through there, and so you've got those two groups that you could have an accident.
Yeah, and it happens. I mean, it does happen. And so, just like on the road, out on the trails, each user has certain rights and certain responsibilities that they must adhere to in order to safely share the trail with everyone. Technically, trails are referred to as shared use paths. So they're specifically designed for people on wheels, and wheels of all kinds. And we see more and more devices. People on bicycles, people on rollerblades, people on these elliptical pedicos, scooters, tricycles, wheel devices of all kinds. Loads of people on foot, either running or walking with their dogs and so forth. And if each one knows their responsibilities and adheres to them, they can be safe. The most important ones for people on bikes: speed limit. The trails in Anne Arundel County, 15 mile per hour speed limit, and really be extra cautious in congested areas, especially when there are kids or pets around. So speed limit. Second, announcing every pass. Proper bicycle etiquette on the trail. Passing on your left, or ring your bell as you come past a runner or somebody walking, or another cyclist for that matter. For people on foot, a couple of important things. One is earbuds. We see a lot of people with earbuds, their music is blasting. They're completely oblivious to what's going on around them. They don't hear the announced pass. So be able to keep one open. Second is, if you're going to stop or turn around, always look and make sure the trail is clear. We see runners frequently, it's time to make my U-turn, and they just make a U-turn without looking, and they could go right into the path of a properly riding cyclist. So same thing on the trails. We feel that if everyone knows their responsibilities and adheres to them, we can all share it safely.
How many people are involved in bicycle advocates of Annapolis and Anne Arundel County, and what kind of roles do they have with respect to the organization?
Yeah, so from a membership standpoint, we have over 800 members.
Mm-hmm.
On our Facebook group, which is very active. We have nearly 1,300, and our email list of cyclists in City of Annapolis and County, 2,300
Mm-hmm.
Or so. Number one, we want them to follow the rules and set good examples
Mm-hmm.
for everyone, sort of be good ambassadors
Mm-hmm.
for bicycle safety. We want them to ride not just for recreation, but we want them to show examples riding
Mm-hmm.
for transportation
Mm-hmm.
also.
Yeah.
So we work with a lot of the bike clubs. What we don't do is the weekly organized rides,
Mhm.
club rides. We leave that to the bike clubs.
Mhm.
But all of the bike clubs in the county have a relationship with us where all of their members, through a club arrangement,
Mhm.
become our advocacy members.
There was controversy recently in the city of Annapolis regarding the establishment of bike paths. How can these entities, in your judgment, best be integrated into the riding environment in the city and the county?
So what's most critical when somebody is trying to make a decision, I have to go to the store, I have to go to the doctor, I have to go to work. Should I drive there or should I ride my bike there? There are a lot of things they think about. How far is it? Is it hilly? Am I going to be sweaty? Is there a shower? But the number one factor, am I going to feel safe? And so what's critical to making more people feel safe is to have a network of safe places to ride. Safest of all is, of course, a trail. Next safest is what's called a protected bike lane, where there's some physical separation on the roadway between the cars and the bikes. So they're going to look at the route from A to B, and if part of it's on a trail, and part of it's on a bike lane, but part of it's on a busy road with no shoulder, they're probably not going to ride because of that one segment. So what's most important for the city and county to do, and this is the work of the Anne Arundel County Bicycle Advisory Commission, which includes citizens from all over the county, representatives from City of Annapolis, Anne Arundel County, and State Highway Administration, is to build out this safe network. So so some of the experiments that have been done here have been to demonstrate what could it be like to provide safe passage from A to B. But again, if A to B is only a segment of where you have to ride, we've got to get the network built out and connected. And so that is really the principal mission.
John, I'm sure that
Commission.
John, I'm certain that many of our viewers are going to want to learn more about the bicycle advocates of Annapolis and Anne Arundel County. How can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, the best way to learn about us and to reach us is through our website. So if you go out to bikeaaa.org, you'll find lots of information, lots of links, places to ride, bike shops, bike clubs, sort of anything you want to know about biking in Annapolis and Anne Arundel County. It is a central source of information. And if you want to contact us, get on our email list, join our Facebook page. You'll find a contact page that'll let you know how to reach us there. And again, we encourage you each October, come out and join us for the Lifeline 100. And that has its own website, lifeline100.com.
Thank you for viewing our program today, and please join us again on Annapolis Mosaics. If you would like to have more information about the Annapolis Human Relations Commission, please jot down the information on your screen. You can reach us at 410-263-7998 or by email at hrcommission@annapolis.gov, or check out our page at the City of Annapolis website. Go to www.annapolis.gov, click on City Government, then Boards and Commissions, and you can scroll down to the Human Relations Commission page.